Alright, hello there. I know I haven't been making many videos. Look, I know, yeah. Look, hey, I have to focus on school and assignments, okay? I'm not very good with doing multitasking, plus I'm still trying to work on being able to animate and post those, so in the meantime, I'm going to show you something I just finally got done, and that I finally added to something else. Pressure pad, ghost trap. Ghostbuster fans out there, pretty much. All right, some proton pack, more newer, modern one. That was my old one. Show this in some other video. All right, here we have my other one. And if we go right here, I'll have the ghost trap. The old one, to be more specific. All right, okay. Now the only other footage, evidence of any ghost trap that opens automatically from the pedal, besides electronic ones, is the oldest one, which we would know as the real Ghostbusters, which is their cartoon TV show. And they made toys, and one of them that really caught my attention was the ghost trap that actually opened from the pressure pad, which, if you look at it carefully, it opened because of air pressure. So I decided to work my butt off to try and figure out how to make one, and I did make my first one. It was this one right here, made out of a little box. It is much smaller, way smaller than my ghost traps, but it did the job. It sure as heck opened. And I'm not throwing this one away. If I get more materials, I'll make this one into an air pressured one as well. Oh, I'll make it back into one. It isn't anymore because I wanted to make this one into one. This was its pressure pad. These things can come on and off with bottle caps, as you can see right there. But before I show you this, I want to show you this. I already made a video about this. You can find it in my videos on my channel, which is very small at the moment. All right, ghost trap. This was my first one. I built the whole body out of pieces of scrap. What's cool about it is that it lights up, and it opens by string. Pull this string, it opens. And you can see the lights right inside. As you can see here, the string comes from right here and goes to there. Opens from there, and you can basically just take these right out. These are not attached to this little piece right here. It's a stick. It's connected right here, right about here. String goes from here to balance it out, and it goes through. There's here, you pull that, and like you've seen, opens it. Now, this other string you can see here is where this little yellow tab comes in. Pull it, and it closes it right back up. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty neat. There's no other fancier way for me to do it, to my knowledge. That makes it less inconvenience. But otherwise, it's pretty darn good. And I use this to hold candy for Halloween. The proton pack's hollow in the back of it, so I can hold candy inside of it like a bag. Very useful tool. Same with that medic backpack. I'll show you some other time. Anyways, yeah, it's not bad. It's reasonably nice. Obviously, it doesn't look too good, but it's as best I can work with. These wheels are random. These are from some old toys to have that I was allowed to take from a store. It was a lost and found anyways. They said I could take it. But yeah, there's a little battery here. It's like a little Christmas light. You put that in, attach all around the place. Takes a while. All right, and just like I said, there's a little pressure pad, and it can screw right on. Give me a second. See? It comes right off. So if I'm ever going trick-or-treating, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Very helpful. Very useful. It's a little spot here. I can just wrap the string around it so it's not in the way. Bingo. All right, okay. Now that that has been settled, we can talk about this one. This one, I brought to the movie theaters to watch the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, which frankly, I still think is pretty good. But you can never go wrong with the first movies. Still, gonna continue back. Hey, Dallas. Hey, buddy. This is Dallas here. I know I'm backtracking. Hey, Dallas, bud, how are you? He's a good boy. He's a good doggy. He's our little dog. He's a great doggy. Good boy. Love him. Cannot handle strangers, though. He's a rescue dog. He's never taken care of as a puppy properly. So, it's hard for him to get used to new people. And he's protective. And craves attention. He's a good boy. All right, come on, Dallas. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's go. Let's go, buddy. Come on. There you go. Sorry about that. Where was I? Ah, yes, the ghost trap. Air pressure. This ghost trap I brought to the Afterlife movie, and it had bigger wheels on the side of it to act as the RGT, you know, the remote ghost trap, which I would like to I prefer to call RCGT, remote control ghost trap. Sorry, again, I had myself. Yeah, I used this to hold the popcorn when I was eating it. It's missing a couple parts, like something over here, a piece right over here. I used cheap hot glue gun, which, be surprised, even affects the hot glue itself, even if it's good hot glue. Okay, there we go. Sorry. All right. Now, the special part about this is that you can slide this out of its little shell. But I'll show you that later. What I'm trying to show you right now is that it can open. Right here is the pressure pad. It uses a syringe, got to the tube, connected by straws, which are a bit tight around them, and use Scotch tape to carefully close off the access opening ends. And if I am to slide this outwards, well, let's not do that just so we can see what's happening. I grab this, put my foot down here, and I press. Doesn't always seem to work, but just get the job done. Voila. It just opened. Now, like I just said a couple seconds ago, it doesn't always seem to work when I want it to. Like when I'm showing it to someone or as a crowd. But when I'm alone, it tends to work pretty well. And to close it, you gotta pop this off, make sure the syringe is all the way in. And you gotta push it back in there. Really get it on there. And then, come on. And then you pull the syringe. So you try to suck the air out through the syringe like this, and then it pulls the syringe inside here back in, which then closes the doors. Like I said, it doesn't always work completely, but yeah, that's how it works. And just like sucking it back in, to pump air back out to open it, you have to unplug this every time you're going to open it. You know, every time before you open it, and then before you try to close it. Always unplug it and then re-plug it in. Make sure the syringe is ready. And there you go. This is back out, and this is in. Do this again. Opens like that. And it's very simple on how it opens it. It is very simple. The problem with this being simple is making sure you do it right. Bingo. I'm keeping it closed because I'll show you more about it later. All right, okay. Now, you just unscrew this. Try to carefully pop off, or try to carefully disconnect it. Gotcha. And then, you slide this. And you can pull it right out. And voila, it's an empty shell. And this is where all the magic happens, which, like I just said earlier, like I just said way earlier, it is very simple. Very simple. It's just getting it to actually work is the challenge. All right, now see, this is where the syringe is. The best way for this to work is to always have one syringe bigger than the other syringe, because then it'll be pumping out more air, thus forcing it to have to pull back all the way. Okay, we put this in here like so. Bingo. And then we open it, and I can show the inside. Like I said, it doesn't always work. That's because the size of syringes I have. The one I'm using inside here is only slightly smaller. This one's slightly bigger, so it needs to be pushed just about all the way for this to actually work. That, or I just think it's also because of how long this tube is. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about that. I just don't use water, because you always unplug it and replug it. All right, so if you look carefully, there's a syringe. Duct tape down, and it pushes this piece right there, and it's supported by this little straw here, which then pushes this upwards. The doors are attached to it, so it can pull it out, pull it back in, closing it. Can't always trust it. Well, specifically with these doors, you can't really trust it. And you want to make sure they're secured in. All right. Now, let me just do this. And then as you see it closing, I can get some, as I'm sucking the air out of it, it pulls it back. As for the end piece of the syringe is attached to it. And then voila. This is hard doing with just two hands. And you can slightly open it, kind of like this. As you can see right here, it is attached to it, and it is slightly leaned on edge. Now, for this, you want to make sure it's not poking out of the edges, because this thing does slide out. They're right here. See, they're right there. And then it just, straw goes right through the stick, so it works as the bearing. Afterwards, I used the straw to make sure this piece is supported. Hot glued it right on here, not the straw, but the cardboard onto the straw. I mean, sorry, not the stick, but the cardboard to the straw. That was just duct taped on here. Same goes with this, duct taped. That's it, really. Everything else was just making sure it was right. This has to be angled just a bit. Just a bit. It cannot be directly straight. Or okay. So, so the top part of my hand is where it touches the doors, and this is where the syringe touches it. It cannot be straight or directly inwards. It has to be just slightly outwards. So it has enough room to pull out and pull back in, while also not scraping the top edge of the syringe. If it is like this, but it scrapes the bottom of the floor, it's not going to work. You want to check it before you attach it. Believe me, attaching it is more annoying than checking it. I didn't stay up last night. I didn't go to sleep last night until 12, just trying to get this to work. Yeah, I didn't take the time to figure out what I did wrong. I just kept trying to refix something, make it work. Instead of trying to figure out what I did was a mistake. My fault. But we learn from our mistakes. The box of this was, okay, you want to build this first. If you ever make a ghost trap that it disconnects from each other, I want to make this first. She's got the whole body. Instead of attaching the doors, you want to make another one, but smaller. You want to make the body slightly smaller. Make all the parts the same size, but then carefully cut them slightly shorter. Make the pieces slightly shorter from the work. Trust me, like I said, trust me, it gets the job done. And then after that, you want to cut the front piece and try to make it into a flap. Not very good flap, but it's a good enough flap. You want to have a little edge piece here to keep this edge piece in so it doesn't somehow bend while inside of it. And yeah, this part's just duct tape on here. Yeah, and the hole's poked in. So the insides like this. Little slots here for the paper clips to make sure this is well secured. And you can put a paper clip or some wheels on the bottom here. Otherwise, it's basically this is basically how it's done. Sorry if me explaining how this works is really bad. Let me actually, really quick, let me pull out something for you people. I think I might have something that'll work. Give me a second. I have blueprints. They're not good. They're kind of crappy, but they're still blueprints, and they're good, and they're better than nothing. All right. Here's blueprints to a toy train that I have, which is currently being demolished. I will fix these blueprints and possibly show them on YouTube, the fixed one, if I can. Otherwise, you can look at these blueprints. These are to make a toy train. Best I could do. That's the best I could do. Here, these blueprints are drawn on the back of another pair of blueprints. These are also blueprints to something I made. It's got my name on the side. And, yeah. Making a toy I called Stretchy Bendy. I had the idea from Playtime. Use pipe cleaners and, well, that's really it. No stretchable pieces. The rest of the pipe cleaner is like scribbled up and pushed inside the body. The body is hollow so it can fit in there. And when you pull out the pieces, this is what it looks like basically. These are the measurements. That's what it is. That's what they are. This is my best description. Yeah. If you want to copy these down and build it yourself, go ahead. I really don't care. As long as you make a video about it and then send them to me, so I can see if my blueprints actually work. And then here are the blueprints for when I first built it. Out of this body, this was the first one. Now, see cardboard, duct tape, whatnot. You need two of these. One of them has to be smaller than the other. Bit of rubber tube, and the air pressure comes from here, goes to there. And this pushes this piece, which is slightly, like I said, slightly off. So you said it's not inwards, it's facing slightly outwards, still making sure it doesn't scrape the bottom floor. This is basically what the pressure pad looks like. And then that's what the trap looked like when it's open. Some other parts showing some extra little details, just make sure I got it all right. I was gonna put in the measurements, but I didn't. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's basically it. I was gonna add more to the sides, the small one, but never did. Never came to it. I'm gonna fix these back blueprints, make sure they're not demolished, because this is attached to a file piece that I want to keep. Nice. Anyways, I want to cut this video. It's about 19 minutes already. Sorry that, like I said, sorry if my explaining was horrible or muffled. Please do the best you can to try and understand what the heck I just said. And, yeah. Hoping you guys like my videos. Please do give a comment for anything you want to see me possibly build. And I'll see if I may choose to do so, because I am very selective with what I like to spend my time on. I am very selective with what I want to build. So yeah, like I said, leave a comment for something to see me build, and I will determine if I shall build it or not. That goes right back in, and you can see it'll pop right there. All right. Thanks for watching. Please check some of my other videos. I'm doing the best I can to either build or animate, working with what I got here. All right. Anyways, catch you on the flip side. Super W out.